Oh my god! Hey, did you catch that sound? Oh my god, I'm so hyped. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Grüezi miteinander. Gregory von Lebe stark here. Oh my god. Hey, that sound, that funky vibe. Now I got some trap beats going, guys, but that funk, that really got me. That really got me, guys. We got 6 people in chat. Welcome everybody to the live Q&A. So great that you guys showed up. We're trying a new, a new format, and we want to see if you guys liked it. We got so many questions on our YouTube channel recently. We've seen some growth in the last few weeks. that we really, really enjoy. I really want to say thank you for the guys who subscribe to the channel, who showing us love, who check out our workouts. It's just awesome. And we've been working out for the 3 days now consecutively. And today we're taking a break. Well-deserved break, guys. And so I thought, hey, let's try out this new segment. We had these YouTube questions coming in, and we want to answer them for you. So before we want to get started, guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like kettlebell stuff, we want to help you, we want to support you, want to show you some love. And if you have any questions, I got the live chat right here. I see Rolf going down, yes, showing the biceps flex, and Gato VIP Fitness saying nice, awesome. Guys, I see your chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, guys, we want to start right now. We got this question, I think it was yesterday, a few hours ago. And the first question is, what kettlebell coach certification did you attain? Because some of our videos, we start them with I'm a certified kettlebell coach, and what certification did I get? I got the certification from the IKFF, the International Kettlebell and Fitness Federation, from Steve Carter. We actually got level 1 and level 2, and that was in June 2019. I've invited Steve to our gym. I've invited him for a private seminar, and he was teaching Angie and me. He taught us. It was, I told him on our last phone call that we had, I told him, Steve, the moment you've visited our gym was the pivotal moment in my kettlebell training career. I'm not an athlete, I'm a coach, but the kettlebell training itself, it transformed my mind, my thinking, the way I go about things, my workouts. It's just crazy. And before Steve visited us, I was doing just some typical kettlebell stuff that I've seen on YouTube, but I've heard about Steve, and I've decided to go with Steve. I said this in a recent video in a recent reaction video that I did with Elliot Hulse, and not with him. I reacted to his video where he said kettlebells don't build muscle. I said I chose Steve Carter. I chose the IKFF because I love the mentality of Steve. I love what he's saying, his philosophy. He says, I'm a peaceful warrior. It's not about being the greatest, the strongest, the hardest. Or recently somebody said in a comment, he said that Pavel Tsatsouline says that you have to do certain exercises with certain weights or you're required. This is just speaking from memory. It is flawed. Just keep this in mind. And what I like about Steve Carter is there's no such thing. And we follow that philosophy as well. We don't think if you do a goblet squat, a clean and press, a deadlift, we don't think that there's any weight requirement. The only thing that I think is required is that you learn a good technique. And what we always say is we say start with an 8 kilo kettlebell if you're a female, and if you're a male, start with a 12 kilo kettlebell and start from there. Even deadlifts, even lifts where you usually do or use heavier weights, use the 8 or the 12 kilo respectively to build some technique. And in my case, I'm lifting now with the 20 is 16, I think, is an evergreen workout. We come to a question where somebody said that what kind of kettlebell or what weight would you take to a deserted island, which I think is an awesome question. And I think the 16 kilo is an evergreen weight, and now I started with the 20, and 2024 is now my usual workout routine. And the 28, 32, I touched them as well, but not in a sport fashion, not in a kettlebell sport fashion. Because if you look at what these guys do, for example, please follow Denis Vasilyev. This dude is a beast. He's one of the cleanest athletes. His technique is the technique that I'm modeling after. He's so clean, he's so awesome, and he describes the technique in a way, he makes it a science, and he dives deep into it, and I love it. And if you want to get the highest certification from the kettlebell sports, from the Good Voice Sport, then you got to do a certain amount of reps. You always have 10 minutes. These are just the standards in championships. You have 10 minutes for a certain exercise or a certain discipline, if so to speak. And what you want to do if you want to get the highest rank, I think it's Master of Sport, is you have to do a certain amount of reps with 232 kilograms. And the funny thing about it is, doesn't matter how heavy you are. This is the craziest thing about it. I'm 70 kilos, okay? So if my body weight is 70 kilos, so if I pick up 232s, I got 64 kilo. I'm almost my body weight on my hips, and I got to do a certain amount of reps, and that's crazy. But I'm digressing a little bit, but please follow Dennis Vasiliev. He's an awesome dude. And coming back to this question, I think going with the IKFF is the Russian way of training, the Good Boy Sport style, which is an awesome way to train. And if you choose the way with Pavel Tsatsouline, RKC, Dragon Door, now I think it's Strong First. I think he switched from RKC and Dragon Door, and now he's doing the Strong First thing. It's more like I said in the video, and this is not disrespecting Pavel Tsatsouline, it's just my opinion and my way of thinking, and why I why I wanted to work with Steve Cotter, is Pavel's more like the ice cold Russian dude, and he's like, hey, we don't do light around here. This is what I said this in a recent video. Sorry. And I think this is, yeah, if you like that vibe, if you want to be the strongest, you want to be the hardest, you got the ultimate warrior spirit, and you want to go all in, you always want to be on top, then I think that's the way to go, and that's awesome. But in my, not but, and, I always try to use and instead of but, okay? And my way, my philosophy is not being the strongest, not being the greatest, not being the hardest. My philosophy is I want to work on my technique, and that's an awesome style about the Good Boy Sport, about the Russian sport style. It's the Russian way of training with the kettlebell. It's so unique. For example, if you pull apart the phases of the snatching in the Good Boy Sport style, it is a science. Let me tell you, it is a science. It's not just ripping it and gripping it. It is a science. You work with the gravitational pull of the kettlebell. You work with your upper body. You work unilaterally with one part of your legs activating glutes and hamstrings, while the other part of your legs is aiming. You use it like a kettlebell, aiming to the top. You use different ways of grabbing the kettlebell. For example, you use a hand insertion where you got the kettlebell in a hook grip, then you switch it in a finger grip. It is a science. And now my right side, snatching with my right side, I'm now able to pull off a 22 RPM, 22 reps per minute with the 24 kilo. And not getting tired at all. Of course, I start breathing heavily, but I'm not getting tired. And that's the way how the Good Boy Sport works, and it's just awesome. So if you're looking for any coach certification and you think you want to become a coach and you want to take that route, where it's more about learning, appreciating the art form of kettlebell training, learning the style, helping other people, falling in love with the kettlebell itself, trying to improve on a daily basis, it's not about heavy, it's about technique, and you have enough patience and you want to dig deep into the science of kettlebell training, then choose the way with the IKFF. I think that's the best way to go. Steve Cotter, he really, what he said when he was here, it was a illuminating moment. And really, that's the only thing that I want to say is, please follow Steve Cotter. Follow Dennis Vasiliev as well. These two dudes, they're just masters when it comes to kettlebell training. So now, the second question. We got this from Marilyn Chalmers. She says, I love your channel. Thank you very much, Marilyn. Super helpful tips. I'm curious about your style of swing. It's just different than other swings I've seen. I've tried yours and I really like it. I am a fitness bootcamp instructor and love learning. That's awesome, Marilyn. When you love learning, you never stop. You always become better. Where is your studio? That's funny. I can't find info on it. I'm in California, near Frisco. Thanks again for all the good and interesting content. I really learn a lot from your series. When you look at other trainers, super helpful. Well, I think from Frisco, the distance is about 6,000 kilometers. We're in Switzerland, Maryland. So that's in Europe. That's in the heart of Europe. And we're not in the States. We're not in California. Yeah, that's the reason why you probably can't find information about our studio. But if you type in Lebe Stark on Google, you should find everything. So now let's dig into the aspect of her statement. She says, I'm curious about your style of swing. It's different than other swings I've seen. That's what we always say. If you've been watching our videos, we always talk about the aspect of the hand-to-hand swing. This is an awesome way to do the swing. I even believe it's the best way to do a swing. Most people know the popular version. The most popular version of the swing is the double-handed swing, where you have both hands, right? And that's what most people know. And we are proponents of the hand-to-hand swing, where you switch hands, okay? You don't go double-handed. You always switch your hand when you're in the top position. And so, if you choose that style of swing, then you will get the best, I believe, in my opinion, you get the best way to do a swing, because you will profit from the so-called arm-body connection. What is most important when it comes to the swing is your arm-body connection, because if you want to work this through for a little bit, follow me right here. The first thing that you do is you pull the kettlebell. You got it in front of you, right? Before you start, you pull it into the backswing, so your arm connects with your body, right? So the second phase is the hip extension. You extend your hips and you relax your arm. And this is a very crucial moment, because most people, most beginners, always pull the kettlebell, and that's instincts. If we have something in our hands, we try to use the hands and the muscles of our arms to transport it. So you have to relax your arms. So in the hip extension, the kettlebell travels upward, right? Then you have the so-called handover, where you flip it. You don't flip it. You switch it into the other hand. You grab it in the so-called finger grip, not in your palm. You got it in your fingers. And then the kettlebell drops. And it drops from the gravitational pull only. You don't have to do anything. Just let it drop. And what you have to do is you have to stick your hips out. You have to push them out. Wait until your arm reconnects with your body. Don't pull your hips back. That's what most people do. They pull their hips back before the arm connects to the body. And imagine with me for a moment. The kettlebell is a longer form of your arm. So if you pull your hips back and you don't have that proper arm-body connection, then probably some of the weight will land in your lower back and not in your glutes and hamstrings. So you wait till the arm drops. The arm drops into your body. You reconnect. You got the full arm-body connection, and then you go into a backswing. And the reason why I believe the hand-to-hand swing is the best version is actually two reasons. The first reason is you get that awesome arm-body connection. That's one thing. And the second thing is you can switch the grip. And that's one question that we get into that somebody asked, is you can switch your wrist orientation. You don't have to, you can do it either the front, you can do it in the middle, or you can grab the kettlebell in a so-called back grip. Okay, that's the wrist position. So there's two positions. You have the wrist position and you have position in your hands. Okay, so that's the reason why we believe it's the best version. And I think she gets it, because she says, I've tried yours and I really like it. So keep working and try to feel this difference. If you do a double-handed swing and you do a hand-to-hand swing, you will probably feel a nice, awesome difference, because your glutes and your hamstrings will work the most, I guarantee you. And we have a video about it. You can check it out on the YouTube channel. Just go ahead and check it out. Now I gotta take not a break. I just want to see if everything's going all right. Awesome difference. Yeah, it works awesome. So we check in the comments. Angie saying she's sending love from Gypsy and her. Thank you, baby. Gypsy, our little doggy. Then Thomas saying sportliche Grüße aus dem Einsatz. Yeah, Tom Woods, liebe Grüße zurück. Ihr könnt die Fragen auch gerne auf Deutsch stellen und ich möchte sie euch gerne beantworten. Don't hesitate to ask any kettlebell questions in the chat. I'm willing to answer them. So now let's dig deeper. We have Nico Nissi saying, wow, awesome as always. Your content is really fresh, always informative. Thank you so much, Nico. Thank you. Do you have a rule of thumb for reps to aim for a time frame? Do you recommend full steam ahead, zone 5 effort, or aiming for a baseline number of reps per minute that one can improve over time? Actually, it's a very, very good question, Nico. I think I don't work according to reps. Not all. Mostly I'm working with time. And let me extrapolate and explain a little bit. Where I'm working for reps now a little bit is where I'm doing snatches. Now, like I've mentioned before, I'm able to pull off 22 snatches in 1 minute. So 22 RPM with a 24 kilograms. So that's kind of like my RPM now. And my PR, so to speak. But most generally, where most people kind of get all this question, and where I believe I can help you the most, is aim for a baseline time limit. So what I want to say is, people always ask the question, when do I know that I can upgrade to the next level of weight? The increments are 4 kilograms. You find some kettlebells who are into 2 kilos, but most are 4 kilograms. So the baseline is, if you're able to pull off 10 minutes clean and press, or clean and push press, clean and jerk, whatever. Let's stick with clean and jerk. You're able to pull off 10 minutes. I'm always going according to the competition method, because competitions are always working for 10 minutes for each discipline. So you're able to pull off a clean and press for 10 minutes, 5 with one arm switch. So that means 5 minutes with your left arm, 5 minutes with your right arm. Then you can switch to a higher weight. That's always what we recommend. If you want to go for an RPM, that's awesome. You can do this as well. But most people, I believe, are doing best when they only work for time, and that's experience that we have in our personal training. Is if we tell people, listen, you have 3 exercises with a different amount of reps. Let's say goblet squats 15, then push press 10, and deadlifts 20. You know what happens? People get confused, because once you get into the mode of working out, you have to start counting. Most people, that's our experience, have problems with counting once they get in the zone. And I'm talking about whoa, I think the camera just went off. Wait a second. Oh, where did the camera go? Oh, just wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, something happened to the camera. Guys, give me a few seconds. Technical problems. Hey, what's up? Ah, here I am. Back again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys, if the camera just shut off. So here I am back again. I'm seeing now the replay in the chat. Now you see some stuff on my camera. That's awesome. So bear with me, guys. I think sometimes maybe the camera shuts off, so I have to find a solution for this. But now let's get back on track. Where was I? Yeah, oops, that's wrong. Here I am. All right, so most people get it confused when they start counting. So I believe the best thing to do is not to count, but to go for time, because that way you're able to just work out and listen to the audio signal. So you have a 2-minute limit, and then it goes bing, 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 and you know the next exercise is coming. So you can focus on the technique and working out only. And like I said, aim for 10 minutes. Snatch, clean and press, or swing, I would say 5 minutes, and then you can upgrade to the next weight. Okay, so now I see something. We have 10 people in the chat. So guys, so great, guys, that you're showing up. We have some questions coming in, I think. Wow, awesome. Coming back to these questions in a few seconds. Now, let's switch it. If my system is running. Are you guys seeing this? Yeah. Okay. Kaur said, I'm from Brazil. And that's a Lebe stock meme that we have. When you join us in a workout, or you join us now, always let us know where you're from. Let us know the city, the country that you're from, and we want to send you some love. So Kaur says, I'm from Brazil, but I live in the Netherlands in Delft. Awesome. One question. During the swing part of the clean, I see that you were doing with the thumb point backward. That's the question that I was relating to. Angie was doing it with the thumb pointing forward. It is a matter of preference. Both are okay. One is better, more correct than the other, or it doesn't matter at all. I think, yeah, just keep going. keep going. I'm sorry. I personally feel better rotating and doing the swing with the thumb pointing backwards. All right. Seems like it is easier on my arms, but sometimes I do without rotation with the thumb pointing forward to save my hands from tearing up. Thanks for answering and for the content. Thank you, Kawa. So now let's get into the question. Before I wanted to get into the question, but first, and then I wanted to read the whole statement. Now, is it a matter of preference? It is actually everything. It is a matter of preference. That's one thing. Both are okay. Yes, they are. And one is better, more correct. And that's an interesting point that got me a little thinking. It's not more correct. It depends. And now let's get into it. If you do a swing with the thumbs pointing forward, we call it the front grip, right? What happens as soon as your arm drops into your body, and doesn't matter where it comes from. If it comes from a swing, from a clean or a snatch, doesn't matter. So your arm, follow with me with this one. Gravitational pull, the arm falls back into your body. And if you got your thumb pointing to the front, it drops. And what happens is your elbow is not able to flex anymore. So it drops into your, let me switch this a little bit. So your arm drops into your body, and because your elbow is not able to flex any more above its point, you will feel tension in your biceps and your forearms. Even if you use a finger grip, you will always feel tension. The kettlebell drops and you feel it in your arm. Now, what happens because of this tension, it may be sometimes, I experienced this, sometimes it may be beneficial because using that tension, it's maybe easier for you to bring the kettlebell back up. And if you use a heavy kettlebell, maybe you want to use that additional tension to get it back up. And if you do it inwards, so you switch your wrist and now the thumb is pointing backwards, we call it the back grip. What happens is your elbow is able to flex more, so that's easier on your arms. That's the awesome thing. So you land in the backswing, your arm is reconnected to your body, you pull your wrist in, you turn it in, it drops, your elbow's able to flex. And that's why your arm is not having any tension. This can be good. I use it I use it mostly when I'm going with heavy weights. But what he's mentioning, Kaur, is very interesting, and it's awesome that you brought it up. If you switch it back, and you don't have a proper hand insertion. What is a hand insertion? It is to switch between a finger grip and a hook grip, okay? You switch the kettlebell in the clean or the snatch from a finger grip into a hook grip. So if you don't have a proper hand insertion, it will always tear up your hands because you're probably not jumping, but you're rolling over your palm instead of jumping from your fingers into your hook grip. So my advice to you would be, first use the front grip and perfect the hand insertion where you jump into a hook grip from a finger grip. And once you got that down pat, you can start working with the back grip, because it is trickier to get the kettlebell into a proper hand insertion if you additionally turn your wrist in. You see? And that's the awesome thing about this science of kettlebell training. That's so awesome. I could talk about it all day. Well, that's the reason why we have a YouTube channel. So let's keep going, guys. So, Filos of de Merdia. Oh, I think that's Spanish. Kids of right? How would you receive the kettlebell? Say you're doing any overhead exercise. How would you bring it back down to the rest position safely? That's a good question. When you bring the kettlebell down into the rack rest position, Dennis Vasilyev calls it shoulders touch. So you got the kettlebell up here, it drops down, and then always make sure that you don't externally rotate your shoulder, because that could be tricky for your rotator cuff muscles and your shoulder. So you drop it, the kettlebell touches your shoulder, and then you land on your hip. And now dropping it fast and quick is something that you have to manage and you have to learn. This takes some time and some practice, okay? So that's the perfect way of dropping it down. Always think about touching shoulders. Now let's jump into the next question. Ash is saying he's agreeing on one of our videos. He says he would opt in for dumbbells and barbells for isolation. The enthralling part of kettlebells is the full body stuff. Yes, it is. Clean and jerk. That's awesome. Like the critique, you're very respectful, which is what we need. Actually, that's what we're really aiming for. And what the funny thing is, I have another reaction in the back of my mind, and there's actually one where probably I still want to be respectful, but I'm so mad when I'm looking at it. This is crazy and he's not a coach. He's not a coach. He's doing stuff, and he's a very well-known person, a celebrity. He's doing stuff with somebody that really it's almost dangerous what he's doing. So maybe there's something coming up where I'm trying to be respectful, but maybe I get a little emotional. But YouTube loves that, right? The renegade row technique was very bad. No hips, not square, back twisting. And he was asking about a video reaction that I did on Body Fit by Amy's kettlebell workout, where she's doing a renegade. And if you do a renegade, you lie in the sprawl position, hands shoulder width apart, and your legs are straight, toes touching the ground, so you're ready to get ready for a push-up. And then what you do is, what she does is she has the kettlebell in the middle. So she goes down to the push-up and she touches the kettlebell for the push-up, which I think is an awesome way if you're not able to handle a full range push-up. Then she goes back up and then she's twisting her back and she's twisting the hips because she has to go into the middle. And I actually like that idea. I think she did it for a reason, because she wanted some additional rotational force, some rotational exercise going, which I think it's a great way to do it if you're strong enough. So I don't think the technique was very bad. I think she did it intentionally. If you rotate your body, your abdominals, your core to get some additional work going. So Sam says, it's an awesome comment. If I was on a deserted island and had to choose one tool to stay fit, it would be one heavy kettlebell. It does all. And Menace Blue says, which one? 16, 24, 32, 40? And Sam says, it's a good question. Assuming you're experienced enough, I would go with the 24. Even 16, 32, and 40 is too heavy to do high reps. Personal preference. And I think I would agree with Sam. I would even say go with a 16. If I had to choose one kettlebell only, now that I'm a little bit more experienced, I would opt in for the 20 kilo. But before, I would opt in for a 16. So if you had to choose between 16 and 20, I would still opt in probably for a 16. Because with a 16 kilo, I can do longer work and I can do work more consecutively. If you use heavier weight, in my experience, my training, my personal training looks like this. I'll start Monday with heavy lifting with a 24 kilo. Then Tuesday, I'm dropping it down to the 20. Then Wednesday, I do some cardio, some relaxing. Then Tuesday, going up. Then Friday, doing doubles. And Saturday, going heavy, or just doing a mixture of all when we go live on our YouTube channel. But, you know, I love what I do. I've been doing this for 10 plus years. And I wouldn't recommend this routine for beginners. Beginners will probably stick with 2 to 3 or maybe 1 to 2 workouts per week and try to aim to keep this routine for the next 3 months, and then you can upgrade it, because the frequency over the year is more important than the frequency over the week. So if you go 4 times for 1 month and then you stop going, that's not as good than going doing 1 workout per week but for the whole year. You get the point that I'm saying. So that's awesome. We get some awesome questions. Now, wow, we got still 10 people in the chat, and we got a lot of questions going. That's awesome. Now, I think that's the final one. And that's one of the chances to get to show off my body, because I'm not a fitness model, but here I can show it off because it's a question that was coming in. So Treebeard is saying, Gregory, did you achieve your physique with kettlebell exercises and maybe bodyweight exercises only, or do you use bodybuilding techniques? And Sam says, good question. I'd like to know that too. So this is my current form, as you can see. I have to switch a little bit so you can see my front just for a few seconds. This is not to show off. Just joking. So what I'm actually really proud of is my back, because I've stopped going to the gym. Recently, I went to the gym. I can do everything that I want in our personal training studio. But I have a membership in another gym that's close to where we live, because sometimes I just want to go out and clear my mind and don't want anything. Actually, I'm almost every day here. Angie just told me today, she said, hey, listen, man, we're on vacation and we're in the gym all day, every day. Well, I just love what I do. Yeah, but she's right. So, excuse me. I'm so proud that I get this physique now with kettlebell training only. But, and here comes a big but. The but is I've been doing 10 plus years of strictly bodybuilding training, just typical training, splitting training. And I'm talking about what I really love to do right now as well is still doing when I go to the gym, which was not often now. I started going a little bit more. Is doing stuff with barbells, with dumbbells, and just bench pressing, deadlifting. What I also love to do is pull-ups. And but back in March 2020, when this whole funny thing that the world is now experiencing started, we actually stopped going to the gym. And period. We only did, Angie and me, we did kettlebell workouts, I think, for 2 or 3 months straight, almost every evening, because we were streaming and we knew that the YouTube channel was getting some traffic, and then we were upgrading our schedule. And so I even noticed that my back was getting bigger. I was like, whoa, what happened? The last time I was doing a pull-up was like 6 months ago. But I think the kettlebell, if you use heavy enough weight, if you don't just go for reps only, and I think it's a mixture, because if you look at it this way, I saw a recent athlete who liked something on my Instagram. I checked him out, and he looks scrawny, really scrawny, but he's shredded as you got me? So he's scrawny but shredded, but he's lifting the 32s like it's nothing, because they use all the power from the legs, but he's shredded. And that's one thing that I really got from kettlebell training is the added shreddedness, my added leanness, the athleticism. And somebody told me this. He said, hey, listen, you look a lot more athletic than back then when you were doing the typical bodybuilding stuff. Because as you see, I'm not bulky. I think I'm just average. But I'm able to keep some of the muscle mass. And now, if I would guess now, I would say 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was doing 100% kettlebell training and some pull-ups, but 100% kettlebell training. And because my mind wanted something else, and because I felt like I wanted to go back to my bodybuilding routine once in a while, because I was doing this for 10 plus years, I went back to the gym. And my training in the gym now looks the same like kettlebells. I put my timer on my watch, and 30 minutes, guys. I start the workout with the warm-up, with the cool-down, with 5 minutes on the Stairmaster, going really, really fast. 30 minutes, and I'm out. I'm walking out of the gym. 30 minutes. Because this is what I got from kettlebell training. You don't need a lot of time. I'm not spending an hour or 45 minutes in the gym. I go into the gym. You know what my gym routine looks like? Incline press, pull-ups, and dips, and curls and triceps extensions. And the main reason why I went back to the gym was for my mind, because I wanted something else. I want to go back to my routine. And the second thing is the pump. I was missing. This is actually something that I was missing from kettlebell training, is the pump. Looking into the mirror and feeling like you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that's something that, if you've been doing these techniques in normal bodybuilding training for years, you know what I'm talking about. And that pump, I was missing it. But I got back to it. But listen, kettlebell training is what it is now. And maybe, and this is something just to send this point home, I read how Denis Vasilyev said, he said, hey, the reason why, because I asked him about his rowing routine. He's doing a lot of rowing. And I asked him, hey, are you incorporating this routine now frequently, and what does it bring to you, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, it probably does something for his sport, because he's an athlete. He's a kettlebell sport athlete. And he also said, which I think is interesting, he said, and I've been doing kettlebell training for 20 plus years, and it's something else for my mind. And this point really sticks with me. And that's something that we always say. We do clean and press, snatch, swing all year. Turkish get up, deadlift, cleans, and those basic stuff lunges, basic stuff with the kettlebells, especially the ballistics, all year. All year. I'm not going into these crazy exercises that you sometimes see on social media. If you like them, do it. But we believe in the basics, in the stable exercises. I recently saw somebody that I really like do something so crazy with the kettlebell, and somebody commented in the Instagram and said, "Hey man, do the basics, because actually this is just it's maybe for your mind something. Yeah, it's switching for your mind, but the basics are the most bang for your buck, which we always say." But I also get the point that maybe you want something fresh for your mind if you've been doing something for so many years. So that's the point that I'm getting. So we have 14 people in chat. My God. Hey, let me know, guys. Do you like it? Do you like this format? Let me know in the chat, because this is something, if you really like it, that we want to push forward. We want to keep going. I think we've been streaming now for what? Almost 40 minutes now. Going to Dr. Disrespect levels of streaming. And actually, just before we go into the questions, if you're interested in streaming, and if you're interested in how one of the best streamers, he's a gamer, who's doing video games, but if you're interested in streaming, you want to do something for yourself, and you want to see how the best do it, check out Dr. Disrespect. This dude, how he streams, he's next level. Crazy stuff. So let's check out the questions from the chat, guys. So, Double Edge says, are you familiar with on-it kettlebells? Do you think the design lends itself to forearm injury? That's a very good question, and it's perfect. Thank you for the question, Double Edge. It's something that I've seen. I recently thought, I think you mean these gorilla kind of kettlebells. They look like gorilla faces or helmets or just statues and with beards and stuff, right? I think you mean this. You're talking about these kettlebells. So I thought, well, these kettlebells probably are not suitable for cleans, press, snatch, for the typical Russian stuff, right? And then I saw Sergey Rudnev, I think is his name. He's a Russian legend. He was doing snatches, or gotta clarify. He was doing a warm-up with those crazy-looking kettlebells. And I was looking and I was like, okay, he digs it as well. But I think it's a design question. If you like the way how they look, if you like something that's more like, if you want to get into the spirit and you need a gorilla face, which I think is an awesome way. I think it's awesome. Then maybe I'll just get back to that. Listen, I don't want to look at my body the whole time. Then maybe if you dig it, go buy yourself one. However, I don't think, just from looking at it, that it's the right way to do or the right kettlebell to choose when working out. I believe you're better off with a normal and standard competition kettlebell, with a competition kettlebell especially. At the same time, I can't speak from experience, so I've never had the chance to work with a kettlebell that looks so funny and maybe see what it feels like when you lift it up and go into cleans and snatches and all that stuff. Because I'm just thinking, well, you probably get the kettlebell always in the same rack rest position, so maybe, well, I don't think so. But it's different. I'd have to test it. But if you'd have to choose and have to think about, okay, what kettlebells should I go for, I'd opt in for a competition kettlebell. So we have Matt Johnson. Apologize for being late to the chat and may have missed it. No worries. Great that you showed up. I think it might be good for your audience to hear your thoughts on hard soft style. Would you be able to touch on that? Yeah. The funny thing about hard style and soft style, or let's put it this way, hard style and the good old boy sports style, is that hard style, they say, we want to work as inefficient as possible with the kettlebell to burn as much energy and calories as possible. I kind of get that. And then there's the vibe from Pavel Tsatsouline, which I don't really feel. I'm not in that philosophy, biggest, strongest, that kind of stuff. And that's probably the reason why I chose the Good Voice Sport. This is something that I mentioned at the beginning. And our Good Voice Sport is using the kettlebell as efficient as possible. And so here's maybe the question. let's put it this way, and you can put it in the chat if you have something in your mind, because the collective has always the biggest and brightest ideas. Please let me know in the chat and comment on what I'm saying right now. If we do a test, you grab a 28 kilo kettlebell or a 32, right? Grab a 32. And then you do 10 snatches right, 10 snatches left, right? 10 reps. And I'm opting in for a 24 kilo, 8 kilos less, or 20 kilo. And I'm doing 5 minutes of work. The question would be, do you really burn more energy than me? I believe because I'm working efficiently with the kettlebell, that's the reason why I'm able to burn more energy, but I'm also able to always recuperate from that style of training and from the energy expenditure that I'm having, because I'm using gravitational pull. I'm using some scientific stuff with my body, doing some really deep stuff when it comes to the Good Voice Sports, something that I touched on in the beginning, that really makes the workout as efficient as possible, so I can work longer. And probably because of the reason that I can work out longer is I can burn more reps at the end of the day. Burn more calories at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? And the other aspect where I think the Good Voice Sport shines is the idea is to work as efficient and as long as possible. Angie and me, we did a marathon workout. We did 60 minutes. You can find it on our YouTube channel. We did 60 minutes of kettlebell training without putting the kettlebell down, guys. We did it, and it was awesome. And excuse me. The reason why I was able to do this, or why we were able to do this, is because we use an efficient technique, the soft style or Good Voice Kettlebell Sports style. And so what I want to touch on is we also probably profit a little bit more from the so-called law of exercise. The law of exercise is something that builds habits. If a stimuli keeps happening over and over again, then your technique will become better. They also say neurons that fire together wire together. So if I'm able to do a 10-minute snatch with a 20 kilo kettlebell, and you're able to do like, let's say you do 10 minutes as well using the hard style, and I'm using the Good Voice Sports style, the kettlebell sports style, and we both work out for 10 minutes, I'll probably do let's say 200 reps, right? Or 180 reps. And you do less reps. So what that means, because you're not working as efficiently as I am, and what that means is I'm able to profit from the law of exercise more and better. My technique will get better because I'm able to do more work in the same time frame, right? And the last thing that I want to touch on is, and that's something that we get critiqued on our YouTube channel mostly, and not only what we do, because we're relatively new to Good Voice Kettlebell Sport. If you, for example, check out, what's her name? Brabeck is her. That's her last name. Amy? I'm sorry. Her name escapes me right now. Abby. If you check out what she's doing, I think she's an 8-time world champion, or 10 times. It's crazy. And she's doing a long cycle with 2 24s. She's snatching with a 24. She makes it look like it's nothing. And now that I kind of learned some of that style, and really, I'm speaking from a humble position. Please get me. I'm not putting myself on her level. But now I'm kind of getting where she's at. And the 24 doesn't feel as heavy to me. And she even gets comments where people say, well, that looks wrong. Well, that's bad technique. We always get these comments on our YouTube channel. And that's something that I touched on in a recent video. I believe the reason why the Good Voice Kettlebell Sports style is not as popular as the hard style, 2 reasons. First of all, it's a Russian style. So because it's Russian, probably it's not as well known in the Western region. Politics, all right? And the second thing is Pavel was a straight up marketing dude. He's an OG. He was the first guy who brought the kettlebell into the western part of the world. And I think there was something 2000, 2001. So he started this thing. And Steve Carter, he told me some stories. He was a trainer. He was one of the top trainers from Pavel. And then they they parted ways. And Steve, and he says it himself. I'm not saying this. He says it. He says, I'm not that good of a businessman. And that's what he said. I don't want to put Steve down. This is just what he said. He said, I'm not that good of a businessman. And Pavel probably is. So that's the reason why the hard style is so popular and the Russian style is not. You get what I'm saying? So the origins of kettlebell training is the Russian style, the good boy sports style. But, and that's another funny thing, if you look at videos from the 70s, I saw a video where Russian paratroopers are working out with kettlebells. It looks crazy. Doesn't look like the good boy sport at all. But I think if I remember correctly, the good boy sport championship, one of the first established championships, was 1960, I think, was the first recognized championship of the good boy sport style. So they got history, all right? So I think that's so interesting to see. So if you would ask me, I don't put anybody down. I don't put RKC coaches down. I don't put nobody down who uses the kettlebell, because we're in the same boat. Using the kettlebell and making it popular, that's the way to go. And at the same time, if we go deeper and you ask me now, well, what's the best way to learn for a beginner, or what's the most efficient way to learn for a beginner? I would come, because I'm biased, of course, so I would say it's the good boy sports style, because of the reasons that I've elaborated on. All right. So let's dig deeper. We still have 14 people in chat. Guys, thank you so much for joining. So, Rolf says, why do you only use one weight throughout your workout? Well, I actually don't, Rolf. If you've been following our workouts recently, I'm always switching weights. So maybe I dig deeper into this question. I think I have to clarify a little bit. So our workouts look like this that we do online is we do our Saturday workouts always look like this. Most of our workouts is we have 4 rounds. We do 3 exercises for 2 minutes. We do 3 exercises for 2 minutes consecutively, unbroken. And after we've done those 3 exercises for 2 minutes, that equals 6 minutes, then we have a 60-second break. So that's 1 round and we do 4 rounds. So mostly I'm upgrading. So I start with the 20 kilo in the first round, second round is 24, third round is 28, and sometimes I'm even using the 32 kilogram. And I think maybe you're talking about why am I not switching in between the exercises, right? Well, you can do it. If you want to do it, do it. But what I love about the kettlebell is once I'm choosing a kettlebell, I want to work with it continuously. I don't like switching when I'm working unbroken with a set. Doesn't matter how many exercises there are as much. But actually, Angie and me, we did a recent workout where we were doing a heavy kettlebell deadlift, but then we were doing, I don't know, cleans or snatches or presses or something like this. It's always the staple exercises because they're the most bang for your buck. And what I did was I've switched to a 48 kilogram deadlift. I've used a very heavy kettlebell for the deadlift. And I've tried cleaning the kettlebell once. I think I've done 1 rep and I almost dropped to the floor because the gravitational pull is so crazy. If you use a 48 kilo and you got it in the rack rest position, and the funny thing is if you have a strong rack rest position, you can rest a 48 kilogram on your pelvis because your legs are able to handle it. And that's another thing that we always want to touch on is using the right rest rack position so you can work with the kettlebell continuously. And once you go into the backswing, the kettlebell drops. The gravitational pull is so hard on a 48 kilogram. Well, the camera's off again. Oh, I think I have to. This is something that I really have to work on. That's the first stream that we're actually doing, guys. So, yeah, the camera sometimes shuts off. So I have to work on this. So, the gravitational pull of the kettlebell is so strong. This is so crazy. And yeah, it's awesome. But that just brought me out of my concept because I'm seeing the stream. We have 15 people in the chat. Awesome. Rolf, Matt is answering to Double Edge. I am for what it's worth. Are you referring to the Primate Zombie or Star Wars bells or the standard bells? Okay, Matt, you got these kettlebells? That's awesome. That's awesome that you think that they're good to work with. That's cool. the Primate, Zombie, or Star Wars bells. That's actually... Well, hey, one question that I have, Matt, if you're still in the chat, let me know. are these competition sizes? What are the diameters? Because that's one of the biggest and one of the most important qualifications for a kettlebell, in my opinion, is they have to have competition sizes. If they switch, if they have different sizes, then I wouldn't dig it. And what's the grip like? Because the competitions that we're using, the grip is, what's that, steel? It is brushed steel. I don't know the word I don't even know the word in German. But the kettlebell has that awesome feel, and we recently, Angie cleaned it with a very special material, and now it's awesome to switch and to jump back and forth. So let us know, Matt. So Rolf saying cool 3D effect. Well, I think you're referring to my setup. Thank you very much, Rolf. Long toe, oh, ready to rock. Long toe, you see the LS that he has next to his name? You know what the awesome stuff about Long Toe is? He joined the Kettlebell Club, and you can do that too. Check the link in the description. If you want to support our channel, if you get any value of what we're doing right here, you can support the channel, you can join the Kettlebell Club, and support what we do. Awesome. So he's saying, I'm struggling on the snatch component of the IKFF test that you guys perform regularly for workouts. My left side is significantly weaker. Do you have a good program to build up snatch stamina? I think the best way to build up stamina is to improve in your technique, Long Toe. There are these 9 phases, and we can dive into them deeper. Now, I think we're streaming for over an hour now. We gotta pull this now to the end slowly. You have to improve in your technique. Believe me, if your technique improves, you will work better with the kettlebell. And there are these aspects that you want to keep in mind is the gravitational pull of the kettlebell, using your upper body as a lever, and using your glutes and hamstrings, using the right grip position, using like, who was it? I think it was the question that I've answered. I think it was Kaur. Yeah, Kaur said it. Using the right position when you go into a back grip, in the backswing phase of the lift. It's all about technique. So keep working, try to improve on your technique, and we will do, I think we'll have to do a snatch video to work on, to help you guys improve your technique, but also check out what the Russian dudes are doing. Sergey Rudnev was something that I've mentioned, Denis Vasilyev, Steve Carter. Check out these dudes. They're awesome what they do. So, David Leal says, when push, should be push tall with the shoulder or keep the shoulder pressed down? Oof, David, I don't know what you're saying. When push, should be push. So I think you're talking about positioning of your shoulder when you have it in the overhead top fixation. When you press the kettlebell into the overhead top fixation, always make sure that your biceps touches your ears, that your biceps is close to your ears. And I saw a coach do this. I saw somebody do this. This is not giving you any benefits at all. If your arm's out there and you lean towards your arm, that's no benefits at all. Keep your arm straight. The reason why is you want to stay inside of your center of mass. So once the arm is straight, biceps touches your ear, elbows are fully locked. This is something that you can train and you can work on, because most people have trouble straightening their elbows. When we say straighten your arms, it looks like this. A straight arm is like this. I always call it the Russian overhead top fixation. Look at how the Russian dudes got the kettlebell in the overhead top fixation. It looks so crazy. They're so good at it. So keeping it straight, an arm inside of your center of mass. So on the subject of bringing the kettlebell down from press, I'd like to go a step back when you press. How should your palm be facing at the top, in front or to the side? Awesome question, Ash. And that's something that we want to elaborate on. If you have the kettlebell, well, I have to show this with a kettlebell. Wait a second. And then, guys, we wrap this one up. So, if you have the kettlebell, like this, all right? So, this is so-called hand insertion. You got the kettlebell in the so-called hook grip. As you can see, palm has no connection with the handle whatsoever. First point. Second point, the upper part of the handle lies between my thumb and my index finger, and the lower part of the handle touches my forearm. So that way, if I keep the kettlebell like this, That way I can wiggle my arms, no pressure on my lower arms. My forearms, sorry. Lower arms. My forearms, no pressure. No muscular support. So if I rest the kettlebell like this on the rack rest position on the so-called iliac crest on the hip, then I can really relax. So once the kettlebell goes into the overhead top fixation, I don't know if you see this. So once it's up here, make sure that the thumb is pointing backwards. Why? Because if your thumb is pointing backwards, then the bell, the gravitational pull of the bell is laterally, so outside of your center of mass, right? So if you got the kettlebell up here, the kettlebell pulls down, what you use as support is your skeletal support. We call it skeletal support. Thumbs back in the overhead top fixation means that the kettlebell rests on your skeleton, on your elbow, because your elbow is not able to flex anymore. So the weight is on your bones, and that actually strengthens your bones if you don't use too heavy of a weight. So if you do something like this, which most people do, overhead top fixation, and the thumb is pointing medially towards me, what happens is the kettlebell points towards my head, right? The bell points towards my head, and what I now have to use is muscular support. My triceps has to stabilize the kettlebell, because if it doesn't stabilize the kettlebell, it drops on my head, right? So then muscular support leads to more fatigue. Your energy will be depleted even faster. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to use a 20 or 24 kilo kettlebell and do a Turkish get up, and I'm able to do 4.5 and sometimes even 5 reps per minute in a Turkish get up, because I'm using skeletal support. The same thing with the snatch. Once I got the kettlebell in the overhead top fixation, I'm using skeletal support. So that way I'm able to rest in the overhead top fixation, because in the snatch, you don't have no rest position at all, except for the overhead top fixation, right? So always make sure that your thumb points back. And what I believe, in my opinion, is while most people tend to face the palm towards to the front, is if you rotate your wrist, it's pronated, right? Supinated, pronated. I always mix them up. So I think that's supinated. If you have it supinated like this, supination needs additional power from your biceps. All right? See? If you switch it like this, you need additional power from your biceps. And I believe some people are weak in their arms, and once they turn out the kettlebell and thumbs are facing backwards, then the additional power that's required from the biceps is making it harder for them. So then they lean in, right? And that's just one of my theories why most people have trouble, and most of our clients have problems with the overhead top fixation. So while we still got 18 people in chat, guys, thank you so much. I think this is it. Please let me know, guys. Do you like what we've just aired for you, the live stream? Please let me know, and we will make this a series, and we will keep working with this, because I love talking about the kettlebells. I can't stop. I'm talking about it for over an hour now. So guys, we will be online. So tomorrow, right, Angie? Tomorrow we'll be online. We'll streaming another workout, and then Saturday we'll be online as well, because this week we're on vacation, and we can't go anywhere right now because of the funny situation that the whole world is in right now. And the reason why I'm saying this is you can't talk about this stuff on YouTube, because the censorship is crazy on YouTube, and we don't want our channel to tap into these waters. We're not for that. So what I wanted to say is tomorrow we're streaming, and we're streaming on Saturday. And so guys, if this video brought you any value, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and even maybe if you want to go a step further and support us with a little financial aspect of yours, then you can join the Kettlebell Club. You find it right below the video. It says join the Kettlebell Club, join us. And join us for the workout tomorrow and Saturday. And you will see the way we work out with the kettlebell is very special. We love those 4-time workouts. We love the Good Boy Kettlebell Sports Style. It's just it's so awesome. So thank you guys for joining. 15 people in the chat. Let us know where you're from in the comments, and we'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Brought the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insulted my queen. You threatened my people with slavery and death. Well, I have chosen my words carefully. This is